Good evening, good evening. Welcome to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. I am your host, the romantic funny man, Shawn Cornelius, and I welcome to another great show. Got a great show for you. I got another exciting guest, wonderful guest, talented guest sitting in with me tonight. Want to say what's going on to producer Smoke and program director Denise the Giorgio Cooney, and all of you that's out there watching. And I want to say also thank you to Bronxnet again for housing us. This is going to be great tonight because I'm in my element one more time with my guest tonight, and this lady is awesomely talented. She we met down in the village, and ever since then, I've been following her. She's been following me. Not literally, she's not a stalker, but we just been following each other, our careers. But it was awesome because she's such a talented singer. When you close your eyes and listen to her voice, she has a sound, a combination, and this is just my interpretation of what she sounds like: a Janis Joplin, Deborah Harry, Stevie Nicks, Pat Benatar, and then she can smooth it out as well and give you that smooth stuff. So she's a talented singer, and she performs all over the city, all over the country, and she just dropped some things. So I want to make sure that you guys know that, and we're going to get her in here so that she can tell you about what she does and all of that goodness. I want to make sure you guys again continue to follow. Thank you for following us and supporting the show. And so, look, let's go ahead and let's get it going because she's sitting back there. I got to tell you something. She is just totally a woman, and this is not a negative thing. Before the show, you know, if you FaceTime a woman or you're doing a video chat, and they just have to, they're talking to you, but they're doing their hair and doing makeup and all that stuff while they're talking to you, like we can't see it. So hopefully she's ready now. I see her back there smiling. So let's welcome her to the show, Regina L. Martin. Good evening.
Hi, Sean.
How you
Good
doing?
evening. Good night. Good evening.
Yes, good
Oh,
evening. How's everything going?
it's great. It's great. It's very much like the stars in the background. I don't know if everybody at home can see that too. It's exactly what it feels like. I'm looking for that North Star that's been out for a month. It's
It
not
might. Listen. It might fly past. It might fly past. You just got to keep an eye on it. But thank you so much, first of all, for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. It's quite an honor to be up there with some of the star guests that you've had. You know, you got actresses from Tyler Perry's movie, and who else have you had? You've had so many other people too.
Listen,
Brown and
yeah, I've had some of those. Look, you like a commercial for me right now. This is kind of cool. But if we have to put you in there, we're putting Regina in there now. So the
and now
next
you
time I
have
come behind, why you have Regina Martin? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So Regina, listen, everything I said was truthful. I really, since the night we met down there at the Red Lion, it was awesome to see how we've actually sang together a couple of times, jammed together on that stage.
not as much as I would like, but you're a busy person, so.
That is true. That is true. You know what? So hopefully, let's put it out there in the stars that tonight we'll be doing a lot more of that stuff in 2021.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
So you we met at the Red Line, but let's go back way before that when I didn't know you, and tell the folks a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and then we'll get into the business of the business.
Okay, I'm originally from San Jose, California. You know where that is, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, cool. I think probably a lot of folks do. It's in the Bay Area. So, Tower Power, a lot of local funk and soul comes out of the Bay.
Right, right,
I
right.
know everybody knows that. I don't even know if everybody will get the Tower Power reference, but that's probably my all-time favorite funk band, soul band.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah, that's funk. A lot different than the Gap band, but it's still
The
it's
Gap,
still
yeah,
funky.
Parliament,
Um,
Funkadelic, yeah.
Anything with horns, I'm a big fan of. But I grew up in the Bay, and I moved. I left home pretty early. I left at like 15 and a half, 16. I would say I was on my own. And then 19, I was in Hawaii. Then I came back to California in the East Bay. So I traveled a lot. And then I moved. I mean, I lived a lot of places. And then I eventually moved to New York City in November 10th, 2012 is when I moved to New York City. So
Okay, all right, that's cool. You jumped over. Did you come over here specifically for music?
I did. I did. It's been sort of like a master's program in music. That's how I joke around about it. Not because I got to go to school for music, but because of the class of musician, the competition, and the amount of time and effort put in is like a master's program. If that does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Yeah, I
totally.
think anybody who's, and it's interesting because New York City, and I should have known this, but you always think you're going to come to New York and right conquer the big city, and doesn't, even though you know you're a little tiny guppy in a big ocean, somehow you think you're just going to change things.
Right.
So super naive about how hard it was going to be. Not that I thought I was going to be a star, but I just didn't know how much competition was here. I also somehow didn't put it together that this is primarily a jazz and Broadway community, like duh. But
Right. Right.
so I sort of still and so much closer to finding exactly the kind of voice I have as a singer and an artist. Is this boring?
No, this is no. You know what? Because a lot of artists have this kind of story. You know,
Right.
they're humble beginnings.
Yeah, humble beginnings, definitely. Well, both my parents are musicians.
Okay.
So it sort of felt like if both of your parents are, I know I'm playing with it because it's
I,
so
I was,
long.
you know
See,
what? I was getting ready
I
to say
have
it
I
again.
have pandemic. I have pandemic hair.
Well, listen, believe it or not, this is pandemic hair too. I just decided
Really?
to do something about it.
You just let it grow. You just let it grow.
I let it
Grow.
grow. I
Let it
let
grow.
it grow. Yeah. Listen, if you would have seen me a day or so ago, you would have thought this was back in the '70s, where
I wish
funkadelic,
you could
yeah,
catch
with the afro, and yeah,
Sean after dark.
exactly, exactly.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So you came here to do your thing,
Yeah.
and obviously listen. I'm from here, so I know how hard it is because there's people here to come. So you got into a groove and you started performing.
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
found
wow.
a little home on Bleecker Street, which is really cool because a lot of really talented, famous people from the past, which is something I've always felt attached to, the past nostalgia, and an old soul vibe or stamp has been put on my head by many a music teacher, professor, whatever. Where like Lady Gaga, although that's not that old, Lady Gaga, Elton John, even Bill Cosby has performed at the clubs on that strip, and a lot of the clubs have closed down, but there's still those like Ride or Die, Die Hard, Bitter End,
Right.
Redline, and Terra Blues. Although I haven't played at Terra Blues, but I played Bitter End, and obviously we talked about the Red Lion and some,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Blue Note,
And the
and
blue note.
Smalls, which is not really on that little
Mhm.
whatever square,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but it's so close that everybody, after all those clubs are closed, that's where you go.
That's the one you want. Right.
So
Right. Now,
mhm.
didn't you do Birdland as well? If I'm
Oh
correct.
yeah, Birdland was a break for me. Thank you, Gianni. By the way, he has a GoFundMe up right now, which is shocking in a way because they're a landmark. They are a New York City landmark, and yeah, that's on my site, on my Instagram, in the links in the bio if you want to help with that, because Birdland is an institution.
Yes, it
The
is.
Yeah, the standard of excellence is world renowned. Everybody from Tony Bennett to well, way back in the day. Obviously, it's named after Charlie Parker, the bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope I didn't get that wrong. That would be
No,
so.
no, you're
That is so
right in
freaking
there.
embarrassing. You see what I mean? It's like
Yeah, you're
they're
doing fine.
fanatical here about jazz. Fanatical. So I have to be, and even though I have a nice rounded music, education, I'll be like, oh, Thelonious Monk. I can throw out these. It doesn't matter. You get my point. My point is, it's a great place. And the first show was a tribute to Janis Joplin. So
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
called.
So, hey, listen. So when did you know that you kind of had it? When did you realize you had the pipes? Was it something that was always since young, or you got into a play or something? It's like, oh, she can sing. When did you realize?
Oh, um, because the thing is, the reason that I'm having trouble answering that is because there's literally my whole life is flashing before my eyes. As you say, because I was singing since I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And my dad put me up on his shoulders at his nightclub gigs, and I actually sang a Janis Joplin song,
Oh
"Cry
wow.
Baby,"
Yeah.
uh, from his shoulders at like 3 years old. So there's that. So then it's like, when did you realize? It's kind of like, well, it wasn't so much realizing as you were told to sing. Like, Regina, baby, come here, sing for, come here. And my parents, basically, whenever a new friend was around, I am to perform for the new friend. You gotta hear my kid. So it wasn't, I'm trying to think of this moment where I realized that
Yeah, well, that's
I
old
think
school. That's
I
old school parents. Parents are, parents used to want you to perform at their parties and things like that. But right, so when
I
you
didn't
found,
realize that was a cultural thing. I don't know if you're gonna find this funny. I was sort of accidentally watching Raw last night.
yes,
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, and
yeah,
the first like 15 minutes is everybody gets up and performs, and the young, I think her name was Vanessa from Fresh Prince. I recognized her, and she sang, which she also sang on Fresh Prince, and I was like, oh
right,
wow, look at that. And then the next kid gets up and dances, and then Eddie Murphy gets up and does some pretty crass jokes,
yes,
like a little
yes,
7-year-old, which is
yep,
really funny.
yep.
So I thought, oh, okay, I didn't realize that was a cultural staple. And
So that's how it happened for you, basically.
well, not like get up and perform in front of the family. It was like, if we're at a restaurant and there's all these people we know, I have to perform in front of
Oh
everybody.
wow,
If it's a parking lot and this person hadn't seen me sing before, I remember clearly having to perform in the parking lot one time. And then I did competitions. I did California state singing competitions, which were really, like a little kid, like and I remember very vividly there was this one competition where I had to sing a song that I didn't feel confident about, right?
okay,
Like at the time, a pianist or a teacher would record your song for you, and then you would sing to a track. So
okay,
this was Meet Me in St. Louis. For some reason, I really wanted to do the trolley song. Do you know that song? It's like clang, clang, clang with the
oh,
trolley.
Charlie, yeah,
That song. I don't know why. I really, really wanted to do it. I love Judy Garland. That's one of my inspirations. Her singing Over the Rainbow when she's like 15
right.
in Wizard of
Yeah,
Oz. Somehow it's
mhm.
like you're watching her and I wanted to be her. And so I wanted to do the trolley song, and my teacher was so against it. So I don't know if it was passive aggressive. I want to just, for funny sake, say it was, because she played it so fast that I
Right.
could barely. So I was like, I went to lose another deli on the trolley, I love my heart is her. And it was, just so fast. So I'm about to go up on the stage, and I turn to my mom, and they're calling my name. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go. My mom, she's like, you go. Like, I'm
Right.
like, no, Mom, no. And I'm like going up the stairs, and I was shaking the whole time. And this note came out, and it was like, ah! Instead of, there was no support. It was like I was laughing, like, and it was pretty embarrassing. But it's always been a part of my childhood. And then
Okay.
I thought I want to be an actress, and then I got busy living life. So I think I'm not, I want to say that I'm not further, although that's relative. You're always going for the next thing.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
I'm not further because I took a big, big break to
Okay.
live life for a while, and
Right.
to also survive life. And I came
Well,
back to singing in my 20s with a band, all original band of alternative rock called Last Valhalla. And after that, I moved to New York.
cool. So you get
It's
to
the
New York.
short, abridged
You
version.
you get here, and
Hmm.
you get to the concrete jungle, the place where if you make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle. Yeah, definitely welcome to the
Welcome to
jungle.
the jungle.
Yeah, no,
The
no, no,
Big
no, no,
Apple.
no, 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 no.
So right. So obviously it takes some time to get your feet in, and you start to get into, who's doing what, who's doing where, what shows, what clubs, what nightclubs. So you get past that, you get into that stuff, and you meet musicians. Obviously, you network and you meet a lot of folks.
Yeah, I met some really amazing people and got to play with some really amazing people too.
Well, let's jump to the actual Red Lion. We'll story about that story really quickly because I I was introduced to that by I was actually invited by Thomas Gooding, the bass player. who plays there.
Ah, okay.
And he was telling me about, because I was doing security in the village during that time. He's like, come on around. And I had a band. So it was like, okay, go there. And who was in there that night but you? And you're jamming with was it Papa on the guitar, the lead guitar.
Are you talking about Jason?
Jay. Yeah.
Jason Moses?
Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
And then
you never know who's going to be there that night.
right, and that's what's so cool about, because it's interchangeable parts and musicians and people, and you just get up and jam. So as far as you being able to perform, obviously since you were 3, you were performing in front of people, no big deal, no problem. We talked about your influences with the Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland and that kind of thing. But what the funk music? But if you had to pick one, if you had to just say, oh man, if I'm in a mood, I just start singing this. What category of music is it?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me the desert island question, which is a different question, but I do have an answer for that too, which is James Brown. So, who would I just spout off randomly?
Like, yeah, what is like your favorite genre of music?
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah, I know,
That's
because
not
I
fair.
know it could, at any day it could be any genre.
That's true. It
Okay,
changes.
so today is what today is. Don't say what day it is because it may not. But today is today. What's your favorite genre of music tonight?
I don't like it. I don't have a favorite genre. What am I into lately? The first thing that comes to mind is, I guess, no, because see, none of this is true. I can't give you just one.
Are you thinking about
All
making
right.
up answers?
All right. Well, because if you were to go on my recent what I've been listening to, you would literally hear like 5 different genres, including a sub electronica version, a sub electronica genre that never took off, and I can't remember what the heck the genre is called. It was shown to me recently, and it's just very vibey lounge music.
Mm,
Because I like cleaning the house
yeah,
to that.
right, right,
You don't want something with lyrics because it's very distracting. And
right.
then the week before that, I was listening to Stevie Nicks
Mm,
and The Chain, which is phenomenal. And I probably bumped to that about 10 times in a row.
yeah,
And then before that, I was listening to, again, it's the mood, the week, because
right.
I had to do a bunch of holiday shows. So I was listening to like Bing Crosby and Judy Garland and all these different. So
Right.
what is the actual question?
Well, you kind of answered it a little bit. So
Okay, all right. We're trying.
within your 5 answers, you answered the correct one, because I said, what genre are you into, like right at this moment today, right now? So you said it depends on the day. Musician, I'm into music. I understand. I get it. I know it. So I just wanted to see, because that's what a lot of musicians I ask that question. It's like, oh wow, Shawn. You know what I mean? So it's cool to know. It could be anything. So
Well, can I interject something too that you might
sure,
relate to? You
sure,
probably do this with like intimate friends, where you go on maybe a long trip or a long drive. And I recently did this, where you review entire albums together, and you don't listen necessarily to the entire song, but we started listening to the Billie Eilish album because we're like, what's the hype?
okay,
And like, what's the big deal? And then about 15 tracks in, because it's insane, it's like 21 tracks on this album, right? We go, oh, you know what that reminds me of? Oh, you know what that reminds me of? Oh, you know what that reminds me? So it went from like Lady Gaga to Who's Born to Die, Lana Del Rey, to In Sync. We ended up.
wow,
Yeah. And then I think it went even further, but I can't. I mean, it went into the 80s and then the 70s as well. So it just. But if you were to give me a genre, I would say that the 60s to 70s would be where I would want to hang out in music, because you've got psychedelic rock, early funk, very heady, blendy jazz, and then you also have the great Motown soul classics.
right.
So that's where, if you wanted to give me a genre or an area of music, that's where I
Hmm.
would want to live, because I've got Aretha, I've got Stevie, it's just unbelievable,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
it's organic music, but it's also like playing with electronics and the idea of electronics. There were even German electronic groups starting to come out,
right,
right?
right,
Mid 70s.
right. So we get all of this, we get all this information, we get you doing your thing, and now you're in New York. And what was your goal, or what is your goal when you decided to come here? You might have achieved certain goals since you've been here, but what is your ultimate goal? You can give me a present goal, and then you can give me the big one, because we all have a big one.
Okay. I moved to be a full-time musician. I
Okay.
moved here to be able to make my entire living off of music. And my big goal is I want to, when things sort of return to what we know, I want to tour around the world playing very large festivals with very large audiences, you know.
Right.
So,
Cool.
basically, when there's like any applause, it's going to be like, that's what you know. That is exciting to me. And
Sweet.
the short term goal is to get an EP out of original music, because I've been doing covers forever, and I've written a lot of original
Okay.
music. I probably have hundreds of instrumentals I just never felt were there or polished or releasable, and that's not true. And I am seeking to release those, possibly to be picked up by like video game music and app stores and things of that nature. So there's that side. But the EP is my voice. So me as a singing artist.
Okay. Now you have a piano, you have the studio stuff behind you, and I don't know of you to play because I met you just singing. Do you play?
Yeah, but not enough to like book a show where I'm accompanying myself.
Not
But
yet.
right. I mean, I right.
Yeah. You gotta
I'd
put it
rather
out there.
leave that to a professional. I'd rather leave
Right.
that to a hired gun who's going to support me.
Okay.
And
Well,
then I find things too, because I've grown a lot as a singer here in New York. That's that master's program I was talking about. I'm a much better singer now than I was when I moved here, for sure, because of the competition and because of the level of talent that's here.
right. Right. So that's good. That leads into this next question. Segues not right nicely. What advice? What advice would you give young singers who are looking to do the same thing, who come to jump to New York to make it? What advice? What have you learned since you've been here? What would you tell them?
Oh man, because I'm learning all the time, especially with the pandemic. I'm learning and changing and thinking and
Right. Right.
how it depends on how young as well. But um, if you can avoid the bull, if you can cut out all the bull, the time wasting, be very like focused and know what you want. Be succinct in what you want. I'm choosing my words carefully there.
No problem.
Meaning that if you want to wait in lines to perform on Broadway, because that's how crazy the cattle calls are, you
Hmm.
might want to be smart and get all the information ahead of time on what it's going to take to cut that line in half. Like, are you going to be a part of the union? How do you get there? And what do you do? Because the musicians union is far, I hate to say this, far weaker
Right.
than the actors unions. So have a plan, right? It's
Right.
also, as if you're coming here as a musician, as a singer, I would say know how to accompany yourself. That's a regret I have. Piano or guitar, even just simple progressions. That's going to help a lot. It's going to help your ear too.
Sure.
And it also depends on what you're coming for. Are you coming for the sake of musicianships, or are you trying to make it? Because if you're trying to make it, then you should go where your genre is supported. Like
Hmm.
if you're a country singer, then you need to go somewhere where country music is loved and appreciated. So when you do play the little side gigs, and you the $100 here, $200 here, while you're trying to get your corporate or your wedding gigs so you can pay the bills,
Right.
and then you're booking the bigger clubs, and you're also going to want to, you see what I'm saying? It's just endless, and you're going to want the original music as well. But there's nothing wrong with doing covers, and you can make a living doing covers, as proven to us by great bands like Scary Pockets. That's a big thing I'm into, by the
Okay.
way. Um, you can make a living doing covers, and you can do tribute shows and things of that nature. And I don't want to give away all my secrets, but which is kind of segues me into that we're going to be releasing a whole album of covers, but in my own voice and
Right.
interpretation, and the musician's interpretation, and much more musical. Very excited about that. So you can make it your own. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a blues singer, maybe Chicago, doesn't have to be Chicago, but Chicago type areas. You want to do your research. You don't want to move to Broadway Jazz City if you're a rock singer.
Right.
Because I just recently came back from Florida and I'm getting like standing ovations in Florida. I've done well in New York. I'm not going to fake like I haven't been supported and loved in New York. Thank you, everybody in New York who supported and our fans. But in Florida, I couldn't believe the musical conversations, the difference in camaraderie and like speaking my language down
Gotcha.
there as far as what I like and
Mm-hmm.
what they like and how
Sure.
much talent is appreciated differently. And again, if you come to New York or any major music city, whatever genre that city is about, like how LA is kind of about that neo soul thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Neo pop soul right now. So if you're a singer songwriter and you do neo pop, go there and do all the jams and I'm giving you a lot. That's a lot.
No, that's cool.
That's a lot of information. But
No, you never know who's watching. Again, everything you said may not hit everybody, but something is going to hit somebody, and this another part of what you said is going to hit another person. So let me ask you this: before we go into a break in a few minutes, how important is it to you to perform with a live band as opposed to not?
I love that you asked me that question. I mean, I stepped on the end of the question. I think I heard the question: how important it is to play with a live band. Is that the question?
As opposed to not.
Oh, I don't want to ever perform without a live band. That's how I feel. It seems to be like, what's a great example? That's like without a band, it's almost like cooking in a kitchen without great ingredients or without utensils in a way. Like, because it's going to lead me to create. And I want to be able to create, which is what I believe music is really about, is live creation, right? Interpretation, movement, connection. How do you do that with a track? It's a different kind of performance. You can. It's a different kind of performance.
Right. No, I get it.
Then I need like to be on the roof, right? Like The Weeknd, which is hot, so sexy, right? On the roof performing in the middle of New York City to get your attention.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing because you got these live musicians and everybody's doing something, even if it's a cover and you've rehearsed. That night on stage, you're gonna get, if it's a 5-piece band, you might get 5 different things, and then you got to fit into that 5 there. Or when you do it's a great feeling. Good question on that level. So good answer. All right. So before we take a quick break, I got one more for you that you can answer.
Okay.
You told us about your goals. Tell us in about 2 minutes or less a dream. You told us about performing. Give us your ultimate musical dream that could just like that came through today. This is what it is.
Musical dream.
Yeah, tell us your Dorothy. Your Wizard of Oz. Your Wizard of Oz. Oh, there you go.
I like how I see what you did there. I think performing with someone truly legendary because I get tears sometimes imagining that. Don't ask me who, because it could be it could be
it was coming. It was coming. Did you see the eyebrows? It was about to come.
I so regret and not seeing Prince live.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a freaking mistake.
It was a great experience for me.
What do you regret? What would you go back and do differently in your life? I would see Prince live.
Yeah. I caught the Purple Rain tour in college. So I'm not bragging. I mean, I just had to tell you. Nah, that's great. Yeah, because it's always when you talk about that, what's one of the greats, and just to be a singer, to just be, like, I got to be honest with you. I'll sit in here and I'll play bass along with some of the greats and act like I'm in concert with the greats playing their songs on YouTube while they're in concert. I'm like, yeah, I played with Prince last night. Yeah, I was with Michael Jackson the night before. I was singing.
Who else? I'm just curious. Who else?
My musical range is just out there. So I might play with the Beatles. I might learn a Beatles song. David Soul, "Don't Give Up on Us, Baby," the old school. That's old school. That's really old school.
Well, I'm shouting out artists from the 30s and 40s. So we're
Yeah.
cool.
Well, David Soul from the 70s. You know,
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch, dude.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
All
it
right.
could be anybody. Last night I learned Frankie Beverly and Mays before I let go. So I was playing with them in concert. So I get what you're saying, just to do that for the greatness. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Gonna let you breathe for a second. You're doing fine. You're doing fantastic. All right. But we're gonna take a woo-saw. We're gonna take a quick break. And we're gonna come back with more. But now we're gonna flip it. And I'm gonna have to put you on the romantic funny man's love seat and
Should I
find
change
out.
lighting?
No, the lighting. You might, I don't know if you have different colors. You might want to change the color, but it's gonna be nice and mellow and warm on the love seat. We're gonna find out what Regina Martin feels about love, romance, all that relationship. Good stuff. So I'm gonna let you get ready for it. And you're not gonna leave, are you?
Oh wow, that's a bad heart. I'll be right here.
Okay, so we'll be right back with more Regina L. Martin on After Dark with Shawn Cornelius after this quickie break.
This light.
All right, now we'll jump back into it. Were you saying about the light?
Oh, I thought you. I can change it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Technology is crazy, but no, it's cool.
Alexa,
This is the mood lighting.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Wait. Echo. Bedroom chandelier red. Okay.
Oh, excuse us.
This is a little bit like.
Let's see if that works over here. Carlos, Rosy Red.
Carlos.
He ain't working. He's not working.
Change it to, I forget the accent.
Nah, we good to go.
Echo.
Okay, that's a beautiful red.
Blue. There you go. All right.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Echo, you don't have what's her name?
She's in the other room.
He's in the other room. Okay, keep them separate. All right, good. So let's not waste the light. Here we go. First question. You're on the love seat. Regina, what is your definition of love, and why is it important to you?
Oh, my definition of love would be unconditional. Yeah, it's unconditional. It's what's the second part of the question?
Why is it important to you?
Why is it important? It's important to every single thing on this planet. It's important to everybody. It's important to me because it's just it's sort of like a life where you can't. I don't think you can live life without love. Not well.
All right, I'm gonna pull a tooth right now. You said it's unconditional. What is it? So you're not telling me what your definition is. It's just
right. I guess the feeling, and oh man, I feel like pulling Wikipedia out right now because I'm a very exact type of brain.
Yeah, just throw it. Just throw it out there. It's mellow. It's relaxed. It's blue bedroom lighting. Just throw it out there. You said it's unconditional, which is good, but what's that feeling? What is that? What is unconditional?
Well, if it's in love with a person, a romantic love, which is different than other, right?
That's where we are. We're
categories. So if we're talking about romantic love,
well, whatever it means to you, whatever it is.
Oh, I would say that it's when you're accepting a person, and despite all of their flaws, that you not only still care about them, but you might even put your life, you put their life ahead of yours in a way. So that's another aspect.
That could be. That's good.
But it's unconditional in the sense that it's not if I'll love you if.
Sure.
Yes, I take you for what you are at face value. At face value? It's a terrible. Yeah.
Well, it's it. All right. You mentioned one word, but we got to go back to it. Romance. What is your definition of romance, and why is that important to you?
Well, that candle in your intro is pretty telling. But what is romance romance is intimacy. So it, we do everything from where we have a song, like a we have a song that we dance to. It can be in the middle of the day, like, and then the other day he came in and he woke me up with it. He just played it. And he was like, "Merry Christmas," and it was our song. So that's very romantic.
Yes.
So it's something that sort of touches the heart, soul, and connects you on an intimate level with the person that you want to share those feelings with, want to share those romantic, intimate feelings with. So that can be anything from a physical thing like a card to a non-tangible item or words. Although actions are much more important than words, especially as for me, as I get older, I realize how much more telling actions are and how important that is. And you can say, just because I say what I mean doesn't mean somebody else will say what they mean, or just
Right.
because I think I'm saying what I mean in that moment, it could change a year from now per circumstances. So
Sure.
actions are more important than just saying I love you.
Okay.
Anybody can say that.
Sure. All right. So I get the answer, and you answered the other part about why it's so important to you. You like that? So on a scale of 1 to 10, excuse me, where
I
would
get you choked up there with my answer.
whenever I talk about love and romance, and I'm looking at a beautiful woman, I gotta, I gotta throw it all out there. Why, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put yourself on a romantic scale?
Oh, like what? Are you hot or not? What? Am I a very romantic person? Meaning, do I give out like
No,
romantic?
just like okay, just it's a straightforward. Don't add no words or take any words out. On a scale of 1 to 10.
A seven, seven.
Okay, now that's a good number. Now, what have you done in your romantic energies to put yourself at a 7? Give me an example. What you would think is a 7 in action, since we got it.
Seven in action.
Yes.
Seven in action is thoughtful gestures, and a good example of that would be, oh, this is silly, but it has to do with Christmas. It's the first thing that came to mind. Is that I lied and said that there was no way I could get this gift, for my partner. There was no way. It was too expensive, right? And I ended up getting it anyway, is the short version, and the person had no idea.
Okay.
So I think that what I'm saying is going to a certain length to make sure that this person was surprised, because
Sure.
I knew it would give him joy.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Okay, that
Right.
would be a 7.
Yeah, so it's like living for this moment of me.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's again, these are your definitions, and it's cool. All right. So here's an easy one, I believe. Then give me 3 things that you appreciate about men. 3 things that you are attracted to or appreciate you.
One I can't say on a talk show.
Well,
Two.
won't say it. Say substitute that one.
My mother's gonna listen to this. Two, that they're not women. Women are fine too. That's not my point. It's just something different, something very, very different, very interesting, totally different mindset.
Okay.
Even if you find a man who can connect with a female brain and is mature, open, empathetic, compassionate, all these beautiful things that make all relationships better and work easier. And that goes for romantic love or any kind of love, or just people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's still a different sex. So
right.
The next thing that again comes to mind is a physical thing. So let's see. Did I answer it? I gave you.
No, you didn't. And
I didn't answer it.
I can't let you slide either. No, you gave me one. You gave me one, and now you still got. Huh?
What do I appreciate about men?
Yeah.
I like how they seem to think they can do whatever the F they want.
Confidence.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
We'll say confidence on that.
I like how they can ask a woman out too. I never, because we don't get shot down. So women are not used to asking out, and we're not used to getting shot down.
Right.
And I don't like getting turned down for anything, let alone a date or anything else I might want.
All right. So we got the physical and the confidence. You got one more.
Well, I said that they're not women.
Okay, well, you can use that one. You can use that one. Yeah, I'll take that one because they're not women. Meaning you appreciate men.
I mean equality, baby, right? So
I got you.
It's a more difficult question for some than others.
Right. Well, that's cool. You got it. All right. So let's go the other way. Let's go. Give me 3 things that turn you off about men.
Oh, that's easier. I could give you 20 things.
Why did I have a feeling that was going to be
and
easy?
it's not just men; it's just in general.
No, it's got to be men though. It has to be men.
Not all men do this.
Okay, so you got to pick something. 3 of them that just are about men.
Okay. It's a people thing, but I don't like this. I don't like this aggressive. I don't like this this hunter male thing where I hate territorial crap. I hate that.
Okay.
I cannot stand that.
All right.
I don't like jealousy. I don't get it. I don't like when at Red Lion I would do a set. Dude would come up, you know, I guess try to gash up or what, I don't know what the term is. I don't know, but like try to, you know, and like, oh, let's sit down and let's talk. Sure, we can sit down and we can talk. That doesn't mean that I want to date you,
right?
That you're gonna take me home today. You know, that was, and then another male would come up and there would be this like, who's this assessment thing? What's this called? What's this called? Men do this. What's this called?
Well, like you said, it's an assessment. We're looking forward.
But what's kind of cool is then they kind of start they start competing, you know, like with each other. So that's kind of cool. So that could go on my pro list. But when it gets out of hand,
sure,
you know, like you know what that guy does. You know what he said. You know what he said about you. You know, when it gets out of hand, then it's really disgusting. So I don't know what that's called.
All right.
It's male competition.
Yeah, it's a competitive thing in us with the testosterone, the hunt, basically.
Yeah,
it's in the hunt.
Yeah, but I can appreciate the hunt though, because it's kind of fun for a woman to be on the hunt, but it's not really respected. So I guess there's this double standard that's pretty ugly. And men don't seem to like that. Men don't seem to like that if a woman is like, when a woman treats a man, how a boy often treats a woman, right? Where he's on the hunt and he just wants to be fed. And then if a woman does that, it's not attractive if he figures out that's what she's doing. I don't like that either.
Well, it's a double. Some men have double standards. It's a double standard, hypocritical.
That's very common, though.
Yeah,
that's very common. If you tell him like, oh, this is just a casual, he's like, oh, all of a sudden he wants to lock it down, but he's not really serious about that because he's just saying that because he doesn't like.
All right. You're not going to turn this into Dr. Phil. You're not going to put me on the couch. You ain't going to put me on the couch with this male-female versus thing. give me one more thing that you don't like about men. That was slick how you tried to put that in there.
Like about men. A lot of men don't know how to dress. And it's not homosexual to know how to dress well, you know?
Right.
And I don't get that's yeah. So
okay, you talk about fashion. You don't like a man who doesn't have good fashion.
Like when he's not clean or not well groomed and think that that's okay to go out in public like that. You know?
No,
and that's more common amongst men than it is women, that they go out like a little mess and get away with it. And I don't get that.
Okay, good one.
Right? But if a woman does it, there's all this judgment.
I don't know. Again, you ain't gonna push me off my fence.
Okay.
I'm sitting neutral. Right. I'm sitting neutral. You ain't gonna do that to me. So here we go. This one is okay. This one might be a little difficult. You're doing fine. You're making it through. Now here we go. Check this out, Regina. You're walking down the street in the village, and you kick a bottle over. Out comes a genie, a romantic, funny man, Shawn Cornelius genie. Shawn Cornelius.
Wait, let me just get the image.
Get the image, smoke, me coming out with the hairstyle and everything, right? There you go. I'm a low budget genie though. I only have one wish. I only have one. I don't have 3. Your wish has to include love in some way.
Is that
What
Ray
do
J? If I had one wish?
something? Well, that song
You're
didn't
the
make it
Ray
to the
J
top of the
genie?
charts. We see, so yeah, something like that. So, what is your wish to your genie?
Oh, my one wish would be to have one everlasting romantic love for my whole life.
Simple and cool. I got you. Boom. I got you. It's all wonderful. All right. All right. Now let's move to the next one. This one might use you have to use some thought process. Respect, honesty, and trust are three things that are important, essential to a successful relationship.
Right.
Tonight, right now, you get a chance to get rid of one of those and still, yeah, and still have a successful relationship. Which one are you getting rid of?
No,
Yes.
that makes me look like a criminal.
No, no. Well, I
That makes me look like a
well, I've
criminal.
had about 50
Respect,
criminals in respect,
trust,
trust, and honesty.
and honesty.
Yes.
Well, trust and honesty are in the same family.
If it's in your dictionary that way, this don't yeah. So you get rid of one, and you'll still have a successful relationship. Which one are you getting rid of?
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. What did you say?
Excuse me. This is after dark with Shawn Cornelius. This ain't after dark with Regina Martin. I'm not on the hot seat.
No, I don't like it. You have to answer.
Yes.
I wish there was a clever way to not answer this. I think you know what it is, then, right?
I probably do.
I bet you it's the most common one too, right?
There have been.
Who's gonna live without respect? No one's gonna live without respect. This is a
Okay.
loaded question. This is a loaded
Well, I
question.
told you this was one you might have to think about.
I moved to strike this from the record. This is not on the
Hold on.
record.
Let me talk to the judges. Nah,
Overruled.
you overruled. Yeah.
Yeah, honesty probably. So what
Uh,
do most people say? Honesty?
Most people they dibble dabble between honesty and trust.
Yeah, who? No one's gonna give up respect.
There
There's
have
no
been a
way.
couple. There have been a couple of people.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're that like to the core, right?
yeah. They're just
Get me
like
in trouble later.
yeah,
I'm
because
gonna have to explain this
you
later.
know
They
what it is,
are.
and I'll tell you because someone said if you don't have respect, if you have honesty and trust, obviously they respect you on some level. So you can have the honesty and trust because you're going to respect me because you're not going to lie to me, whatever, whatever. So everybody has their own way of explaining it.
That's bull. That's total bull, and I'll tell you why. Because you said that you take one away,
Yes,
there's no repercussions. So
right.
therefore, then they're saying, "Oh well, if I have this and I have," no, you don't, because you just took away honesty. So therefore, you have no honesty. Period. That don't make no sense.
Well, you said no. You said honesty and trust are in the same family, so they're kind of close on that level. So you can get
Right.
rid of one of those and still have the other.
You could, but if this is a genie scenario where this is a magical world where none of this exists, then if I have someone's trust, then it doesn't matter how many times I lie because I have their trust. You see?
Well, see, let me tell you what you're doing. You're mixing up our questions because this ain't the genie. The genie already did your wish of your perfect love. So leave the
Right.
genie alone. You only had one wish.
I'm not going to be invited back on the show, am I?
Oh no, we're gonna have to ask the judges. It's all good. All right. So let me ask you this. This should be okay because you did really well with your communication. So I think you'll be able to get this easy. Right now, there are a lot of women watching.
Oh,
Give them
hi.
some advice on dating men. What would you
Uh,
tell them if someone came up and said, "Hey, Regina, what you got?"
I'm better in give me a situation and I'll tell you, girl, run from that man rather than give me random advice. What are they looking for? If they're looking for love and they want advice, this is a great. So this is what my man said to me that blew my mind. This is the phrase that cleared my mind. It was, it. Does he take you seriously? Right? Which is so New York, right? That's so East Coast to say,
Okay, yeah.
right? Like, oh, he's not taking her seriously, and I was like, oh, oh, what does that mean? What is this? What does that mean? He's not taking her seriously, right? Because women don't think like that. They're thinking it's at least as this woman. I'm not one of those. Where is it going? But it always sort of very Sex in the City, right? It always goes that way because there's going to be something that occurs where you're asking yourself this question of, what do I want from this? It's
Mhm.
not like, you know, 1950s, honey, you know, tell me where this is going,
Right.
or where is this going, 1992. This is like, can we are we moving forward? Are we going to want to get married? Are we going to want to be together long term? Are we going to end this because of differences? Is this going to end violently where we're screaming at each other like and hate each other? So if it depends on what she's trying to
Well,
establish.
let's just say in general, she
She,
just, you know,
she
what?
could be already in something that's whack, right? Because because here's the thing, she wouldn't be asking me for advice if she was in something good, right?
Oh,
A woman
oh,
knows.
wait,
No,
wait.
a woman, no, a
Time
woman knows.
out.
What,
Time out. Time
what
out.
I'm saying, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. You know what you're doing? You're overthinking the question. Yeah. It's just simple advice. What would you tell a woman that says, I need some advice on dating? What would you tell her?
So I'm going somewhere with this. I know
Okay,
you
go
have
ahead. Keep going.
your questions. It does connect, I promise.
Okay, all right.
What I'm saying is that uh, one good piece of advice is, you know, you're in a good relationship if you don't really have to ask anyone else for advice about that man. You might ask for advice about, hey, did you ever come across this in your relationship? Maybe one of you wants children and the other one doesn't want children. That's a different scenario. Are you following me? You're not. You look confused.
No, I'm following you, but
Okay.
that wasn't my question.
Well, I'm saying that she knows. Okay. What? Okay.
No, you're giving me scenarios, right? Which is fine, but my just whatever you're telling me is cool because it's advice. So there's no
Right.
specific
So,
scenario.
okay. Well, I got another one. I got
Yeah,
some good stuff. Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. See, I've dated I've dated some real losers, and I've dated some nice people. So I'm just trying to think of how I can help somebody avoid losers. And I would say that if you feel you're being treated well and you're happy, then that's it. You don't need anything else. So, but I would say that if you're feeling any type of, I don't know what's going on, then you have no business being in that situation. And what often happens, for personal experience, is you get involved with someone before you know them, right?
Yeah.
Too deeply. You get
Mhm.
involved too deeply, too quickly. And you could take your time, and you could not take your time and still get to know somebody good. But if you find yourself spiraling down and rolling down a hill and crashing and burning, you got to get out of there.
Right.
When a woman has invested that, you'll probably run into a lot of women like this. You're like, how are you in this crappy, horrible situation? It's because she's invested too much time, and she's invested too much. And so she's inclined to believe the lie, right? Sort of invented this belief, living a movie rather than what it really is. So
Gotcha.
I would say, if you're in that situation, as hard as it's going to be to take out the needle, you need to leave immediately and start something else that takes up your time. And usually that would be friends or hobbies or whatever. And it's going to be hard. And you're going to have to journal, and you're going to have to, do a program basically
Right.
get over that bad man.
Okay,
But
cool.
to find a good man, I would say find a man that takes you seriously, that respects your feelings and listens and is really empathetic. Empathy is so important. Um, even if you don't understand something or where someone's coming from, if you have empathy, there's hope that you can.
Right.
So is that enough? I could write you a book.
Yeah, no,
I could write you a book on this.
that's
And you're
fine.
like, I
That's
don't know where
cool.
you're going. This is a scenario. That's because I was on chapter 1,
Yes.
section C.
Well, listen, this is when I invite you back for the next time, then we'll pick up chapter 2, chapter 3, and we'll roll through it. All right. So I'm gonna let you off the love seat in a minute, but we got to do this one final thing, which should be really easy. I call this game Favorite Sevens. I'm just gonna say something. You're gonna give me a favorite, and that's it. We're gonna knock this out. All right.
Okay.
You ready? Favorite food.
Rigatoni Alfredo, handmade noodles.
Okay. Now here we go again. Favorite all-time song. Just one. Like if it played right now, you'd cut this interview off.
Get On Up, James Brown.
All right. Favorite all-time movie?
Oh, Lost Horizon.
Okay. Favorite.
Frank Capra, 1939.
All right. Favorite book you've ever read?
Oh, it's so lame. The Other Berlin Girl. Out of all the books, I've read all the brilliant literature. The Other Berlin Girl.
Favorite vacation spot?
That's hard. Anywhere in the Bahamas, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the Bahamas.
Punta Cana.
Nice
Punta Cana.
place.
For now, Punta Cana.
Okay. Favorite all-time TV show?
That's ridiculous. Oh, it's so lame. I'm between Frasier or The Cosby Show.
I'll give you 1 and 1A. You can say both of them.
Oh, well, then I have 2 more.
Knock them out. Nick, knock them out. Which 2 are they?
TV show?
Yes.
Television. Okay. Mama's Family.
That's a good one.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What did I used to love as a kid? Well, there's always I Love Lucy. What's the one? And you knew who you were then.
All in the Family.
Yeah.
All in the Family.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Favorite time of the day in a 24-hour period for lovemaking?
What?
Favorite time of the day for lovemaking?
There ain't no right time for that. That can go
Good answer. Very good answer. I'll accept that answer. It's cool. And
although I will say it's better not to wait till 5 minutes before you want to fall asleep. That's how I'm starting to get old.
Sound like you sending out a message to somebody. Sound like you sending a message out
like
to
about men. They like to wait.
All right. With that answer, Regina L. Martin, you are now off the Romantic Funny Man's love seat. Thank you so much for dropping through. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you for having me. I hope I was some help of some
Oh,
kind.
no, anytime. It's fun. You know, again, it's very mellow. I don't have any major structure to this. It's about just sitting with my friends, communicating, having a good time, learning more about them, and giving this platform. So it was awesome. I'm sure you helped. I'm sure you helped somebody out there. So I want to thank you so much for coming through. All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Make sure you continue to watch the show Monday nights at 10:30 on Bronx Net. And as I always say in parting, please go with God in your heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful tomorrow. And listen, guys, if you're not going to protect yourself for yourself, protect yourself for me. Protect yourself for Regina. Let's be safe out there and get this thing out the way so we can get back to some normalcy. So from Lula May and Cornelius's baby boy, I'm Shawn Cornelius saying good night. God bless you. Catch you around the corner on the next episode of After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. Regina, catch you around the corner.
Thank you, Shawn.